What's up, guys? This is Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our Nimbasa City League, or NCL, Week 9 Team Builder. This week we are taking on my good buddy Austin and his Atlanta Staraptors. Um, we both made some moves going into this week, specifically with each other. We ended up trading Espeon and Lycanroc Dusk back and forth, so Espeon is now on our team, and Lycanroc Dusk is now on his team. Funnily enough, it's the same speed tier, which is kind of what I wanted to get out of it, and I wanted more special, more of a special presence on my team because I felt it was a little bit too physical. With the majority of my team is physical attackers like Azumarill, Donphan, Darmanitan, Mega Beedrill, Girder. I thought that was kind of, and Lycanroc Dusk at the same time. I thought that was too much physical, so I invested in some special attacking now. Yeah, so let's run through his team. He has Mega Aggron, Salamence, Sylveon, Alomomola, Arcanine, Swellow, Primeape, Amoonguss, Raikou, Lycanroc Dusk, and Zangoose. Actually, I'll just run through the extra stuff and then we'll talk about what I think he's going to bring. He has priority in Arcanine with Extreme Speed, Swellow with Quick Attack, Sylveon with Quick Attack, Raikou with Extreme Speed, Lycanroc with the Cell Rock. I don't know if Zangoose gets Quick Attack. It might get Quick Attack. Probably does. He has Hazard Setting in Mega Aggron with Stealth Rock and Lycanroc with Stealth Rock. And he has Hazard Removal in Salamence with Defog, Swellow with Defog, and a 4x weakness in Salamence to Ice. Now, I think Mega Aggron's coming because I have a tough time breaking it down, to be honest with you. It can soak Darmanitan's hits relatively well. He might be thrown off by the fact that I've brought Darmanitan to quite a few games and it kind of punches a huge hole in the Mega Aggron. But otherwise, I have a relatively poor way of dealing with that on my team in general. Salamence, I think, is coming because he basically told me that it's coming. He's trying out Salamence because he's using it in another league and it's one of his favorite mons to use anyways. Sylveon, I don't think is coming. Granted, I think it's got a decent matchup against certain things, right? So it's solid against Hydreigon, it's solid against Girder. Unfortunately, that's about it. That's pretty much it, to be honest with you. It can kind of wall the Ribombee and the Espeon, sort of, but Celesteela and Mega Beedrill kind of pressure it too much in my mind. And something like an Azumarill, it's just kind of free setup fodder for an Azumarill as well. So, it's kind of on my maybe list. I don't think that he's going to bring it. Alomomola, I think, is coming, mostly because it's a really good. It's another physical wall to pair with Mega Aggron against my team. It's another Darmanitan check, which I think is important for his team because otherwise it's relatively poor. I do think he might bring Flash Fire Arcanine, expecting my Darmanitan as well. Or Intimidate. He could bring Intimidate. It's a good Mega Beedrill check. It's a good Ribombee answer for the most part. It does get bopped by Azu. It's a good Celesteela answer for the most part too, if I'm not physically, or if I'm specially defensive. Swellow, I think, would come. I think he's bringing a special Swellow. Special Swellow does a lot to my team, and that's why I think it's coming. I don't have the best checks for it, and honestly, I'm not too super confident in my build. Primeape, I don't think is coming. I think it can be okay against Hydreigon. I think it can be okay against some things on my team, but I have a lot of... If you look at the bottom 5 mons on my list there, I have Mega Beedrill, Azu, Uxie, Ribombee, Espeon. All those are fighting resists. My team can actually handle Hydreigon's fighting weakness very well, and so I don't think it's coming. Amoonguss, another thing that is sort of on my maybe list with Sylveon. I don't think Amoonguss is coming, but it could. I think Celesteela is... It literally can't do anything to Celesteela in the first place, so I think that's that. Darmanitan, again, just plows through it. Like, you'll notice that Darmanitan sort of plows through a lot of things. Mega Beedrill handles Amoonguss super well as well. It can check the Azumarill defensively, and that is it, because I also have Uxie and Espeon, both Psychic types that can threaten it. I haven't been very versatile with my Uxie sets this season so far. It's mostly been a defensive Pokemon, and as you can see on your screen, it's still fulfilling a defensive role this week, but it's sort of a wildly different set than what I would normally bring. I've been running a lot of Light Clay dual screen sets. Raikou, I think, is definitely coming. It's a fantastic check to Celesteela, and if he doesn't bring Arcanine, then he has to bring Raikou to check Celesteela, otherwise Celesteela runs through his team. A special Salamence with Flamethrower or Fire Blast could do an okay amount to Celesteela, but Celesteela fires back really hard with Heavy Slams and things like that. I could even tech like an HP Ice on there to deal with that, so I don't know about that. Lycanroc Dusk I think is also coming. Accelerock is a good check to Darmanitan in a pinch. It can hit my Hydreigon really hard. It's also a really good check to the Mega Beedrill and Ribombee. I don't have the best rock resists on my team. My rock resist are Donphan and Girder. Now, granted, Girder has a fantastic matchup against Lycanroc Dusk and Zangoose. I don't think he's bringing Zangoose, by the way. He hasn't brought Zangoose to a single game, and I don't see why it would show up against me. It doesn't have a good matchup whatsoever. I have lots of good physical checks for it, and that's basically the only role that it performs, is like a toxic boosting set. That's pretty much it. Toxic boost, SD, quick attack, facade, return is kind of the set. Now granted, I don't have a ghost type to stop that set from doing anything, but I think I can offensively check it well enough, because it's not fast enough to sort of be faster than my mobs. Yeah, so I think 6 of these 7 are coming. Mega Aggron, Salamence, Alomomola, Arcanine, Swellow, Raikou, and Lycanroc Dusk. If he's going to switch anything out, it would be, I think he might drop the Alomomola. I think then he's got a lot of defensive presence, or he's got enough defensive presence with maybe Mega Aggron as a physical wall, Arcanine as a special wall, and then an offensive presence with Salamence, Swellow, Raikou, Lycanroc. That's kind of how it plays out in my mind. Anyways, let's get into my team. We're starting off here with our Uxie, Lobotomy. I brought dual screens the last 2 times I brought this, I think. But we're bringing a wildly different one. This is our dedicated lead. I'm not usually one to have dedicated leads, but I've been losing often because I just get a poor lead matchup and then can't go anywhere from there. You saw even in my D&D game against Jed, we took forever, and I managed to read his lead properly, but I didn't have a good lead into Electrode outside of Zygarde, and he saw that and almost capitalized on it. It was kind of the same problem in NCL against Jed, and that one I live commed, so you can tell my frustration in how I was picking a lead there. But this will be our dedicated lead. Uxie will be our dedicated lead. Stealth Rock, Yawn, Foul Play, and Knockoff. Foul Play is good for his physical attackers, especially something like a Lycanroc. Foul Play is going to absolutely demolish that. Same thing with the Mega Aggron. It's going to do an okay amount, just because of the base attack on that thing. I can't really deal with Primeape with this, but I have my other Psychic type in case. Excuse me. Knockoff for his switch-ins, and if I just need to get rid of some items, it'd be really good to get rid of an item on something. I'm fairly confident we can actually tank a Boom Burst with this set from full. So if he wants to lead Swellow and just Boom Burst, then I'm fairly certain I can just tank one and click either Yawn or Knockoff. Yawn is sort of just to pressure him to switch out on my Uxie, especially if I'm doing it turn 1. I can pressure him to switch out, get a Stealth Rock up, and then Foul Play or knock off something else later. I'm hoping that Uxie's not a suicide lead, because it could actually play a pivotal role in this match, I'm thinking. It's got a really solid matchup against Zangoose, especially if he does bring the Zangoose. Excuse me. Ugh. It's also our physical wall, so I'm hoping to be able to maybe stop like a DD Salamence or something with this set. Next up is Apollo 13, our Celesteela. I found that Celesteela wasn't looking fantastic, but I was like, well, if only Raikou and Arcanine are checking it, then there's really no point in me not bringing it still. Primeape gets Thunder Punch, Mega Aggron gets Thunder Punch. I don't know how well they're going to hit me. Celesteela has really good natural bulk in the first place, and typically you run it bulky, which is what I'm doing this week. We're bringing Flamethrower, Leech Seed, Toxic, and Flash Cannon. So Flamethrower is there to pressure the Mega Aggron. It can pressure the Amoonguss. Well, I didn't really want to have like Amoonguss just sit in for free, although I don't think that he would leave Amoonguss in on my Celesteela. Flamethrower is also there for things like the Swellow and the Raikou. It'll pressure the Raikou on switch in, at least. Excuse me. Celesteela is playing a role of a special wall this week. Fully Spadef. Leech Seed is going to be there for really good recovery, especially if I'm in on like Mega Aggron. I can just click Leech Seed and then Flamethrower and like sort of wear that thing down. So regardless of me being a special wall, this actually takes on Mega Aggron really well. Flash Cannon is there for the Sylveon if he does bring it and brings it in on Celesteela. I don't see why he would, but he might. This is also my way to hit Salamence if he thinks I'm setup fodder for the Salamence. This is my way to hit the Swellow really well. It's my way to hit the Amoonguss really well. It's my way to hit the Primeape really well. It's my way to hit the Lycanroc really well. My way to hit the Zangoose really well. Toxic on there in case, because Alomomola, Arcanine, and Raikou kind of aren't covered by this set, but I can Toxic those things and start wearing them down. Hopefully maybe live an attack or something and then get a Leech Seed off. I thought about running Protect on this set too, but I kind of needed 2 coverage moves. Leech Seed I needed for the recovery as well, and Toxic is there too. I'd rather Leech Seed the Mega Aggron than like try and Toxic Still something with Protect, so that's sort of where we're going with that. Next up's Elefante, our Donphan. We're bringing in Assault Vest Donphan. This is sort of our Thunderbolt Sponge for Celesteela this week, which is like very needed. That's kind of where we're going with that. I've got the Ice Shard here to pick off the Salamence if I can later. Earthquake to deal with pretty much his entire team. Only Salamence and Swellow are immune to it, and he's actually got a really ground weak team. Besides those two immunities, he does not have a resistance to ground. None of his Pokemon resist ground, so Stab, Adamant, Earthquake is going to hit his team very hard. Oh, I didn't talk about Uxi's speed. Sorry. If he's bringing a defensive Arcanine, I'm running enough speed for him to pop 4 points into speed, and then me to be 1 point ahead of that. So we're speed creeping, Arcanine creeping, no speed Uxie with Uxie. Celesteela is running a minus speed nature. I don't give a fuck about speed on this. Sylveon will outrun us, but I don't care. Oh, you know what? Actually, that's important, isn't it? Maybe Sylveon, because I'd rather outrun Sylveon. So Calm. We'll run with Calm. So now we're a minus attack nature, which doesn't matter because we're not trying to deal with that shenanigans, attack shenanigans, anyways. Yeah. So Knockoff to get rid of some stuff, and then if Sylveon thinks it's a switch in, I've got Gunk Shot. That's pretty much it, because Earthquake basically hits his entire team. Knockoff can cover the Salamence and the Swellow switching in, and then Ice Shard afterwards. And then Gunk Shot is there for the Sylveon. I could have run Poison Jab on here, but I think Gunk Shot is kind of just my better play in the long run. Mega Aggron's actually taking quite a lot of damage from this. He does have Wish Passers into Mega Aggron. Like, he actually built his team very well. I'm surprised that his team's so low in the standings. It's actually got 3 Wish Passers. Many people don't know this, but Salamence gets Wish as well from an event. And so he could pass wishes from all 3 of those into the Mega Aggron potentially, which could be really bad, but the Earthquakes are going to be doing quite a bit of damage coming off this base 120 attack here. Yeah, so that's kind of the idea with Donphan. I've got Sturdy on there just because it's the best ability and I'm not running Sand. Max attack, max HP, pretty basic stuff. Excuse me. Making its debut this week for the team is Patrick, our Espeon. Choice Specs Espeon with Magic Bounce. I'm not sure how much Magic Bounce will come into effect here, but this is my Spore switch-in for Amoonguss. It's also my switch-in to Stealth Rocks from Mega Aggron, potentially. I don't know if I would actually want to switch in on that, or same with Lycanroc, but it's definitely my Spore switch-in. That's kind of the idea there. We got Baton Pass here for momentum. Honestly, Psychic being the only attacking move, he does, like, his Psychic resist is Mega Aggron, which is not known as a special wall, it's a physical wall. And that's actually his only switch in to a Psychic is Mega Aggron. So a Choice Spec Psychic is absolutely going to demolish this team. I've got Trick on there in case I want to trick something silly, a Choice Specs, like, I don't know, maybe Arcanine, Amoonguss, tricking that a Choice Specs, tricking Alomomola, a Choice Specs, or something like that could be nifty later. It's sort of just tech there if I need it. Toxic, same idea. I can Toxic the Sylveon, which I think might be the switch in to a Psychic. That is a play for after I see what his switch into a Psychic is the second time. Baton Pass is there for momentum because I can predict him to switch out into said switch in later and then Baton Pass out on it. Max special attack, and I'm not running max speed even though Lycanroc Dusk is on the enemy team. I don't think that I need to because I'm not sure if I threaten Lycanroc Dusk enough. And I'm not sure if Accelerock threatens me enough. So the thing is that Espeon's very weak on the defensive side, and I think he could just click like Banded Accelerock anyways, so there's no point in me running all of that speed for no reason. So we're actually running a lot in Spidef, 80 in Spidef, because we're speed creeping over Salamence, which is his next fastest thing. So that's what Espeon's speed creeping, with max special attack and the rest in special defense, because it's our next best stat, and we can switch in on Amoonguss really easily. Amoonguss is typically a special attacker when it runs attacks, and that's kind of the idea there. I thought about putting Wish on here over Toxic, especially because we can trick our choice specs on something else and then wish ourselves up, but I decided against it, so that's kind of where we're at with that. Next up's Rotom-Mow, or Summer Job. We're bringing a Choice Scarf set with Volt Switch, Trick, Will-O-Wisp, and Defog. Volt Switch is the only move that I need because he doesn't have a ground type. He didn't draft a ground type, so I can just Volt Switch freely on his team. I don't really need Leaf Storm because he can just switch into like Salamence or something. I don't know. I think Raikou is maybe his switch into this potentially until he finds out that I don't have Leaf Storm. Probably Amoonguss actually would be his special wall, and then I can Volt Switch into my Espeon pretty much for free. Tricking the Scarf onto something like a Sylveon could be pretty useful later. Tricking the Scarf onto like Alomomola or the Amoonguss as well. Obviously I don't want to take a Black Sludge from Amoonguss, so tricking that thing might not be the best idea, but that's kind of where we're at with that. Will-O-Wisp, because I can burn like the Mega Aggron, honestly. Burn the Salamence, burn the Lycanroc. I don't know, it's kind of just there. Defog in case he actually does get up rocks, because like I said, even though Espeon has Magic Bounce, I don't think that it's enough of a deterrent for me to switch in on Mega Aggron or Lycanroc. Like, I don't think he'd be scared of just setting up rocks in front of my face if I wasn't in on Espeon. We're running max special attack with enough speed with our Scarf on to outspeed max speed Swellow. His speed tiers are really whack, and I could basically speed creep max speed Alomomola, which doesn't make sense to me, or I could speed creep max speed Sylveon, which also doesn't make sense to me, or I could speed creep max speed Mega Aggron, which doesn't make sense to me. And I think with no speed at all, I could max... here, let me just check. Yeah, with no speed at all, I outspeed max speed Amoonguss. So there was really no point in me like actually having a fixed speed creeping speed, so I ended up just going 1 point above max speed Swellow, which is the fastest thing on his team. So, and I think he'd be Specs. I don't think that Scarf Swellow does enough to my team this week that he would have to be Specs. Potentially Scarf Raikou, but I can't outspeed that anyways, so that's kind of the goal there. I actually popped the last 64 points into defense because I think that it'll be important if I can switch in on something like a Mega Aggron once, or the Lycanroc does less damage to me or something like that. I don't think this is actually going to be a special sponge by any means. It is also another Spore Switch in for the Amoonguss, which he might not bring because I have Rotom-Mow. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I can afford to run Modest, which means that our Volt Switches are going to be doing quite a bit of damage. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at with Rotom-Mow. And then last but not least is Secret Agent or Azumarill. This is a very interesting set. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. Running Leftovers just for some recovery, because I don't think that, well, I thought about like a Citrus Berry Belly Drum set, but I'm not sure if I can ever get Azumarill in the position to win the game with a Citrus Berry Belly Drum set, and I didn't really want to run Aqua Jet. Now that I'm thinking about it, Aqua Jet kind of makes sense, and I might just change the setup before the game. Liquidation, Knockoff, Play Rough, and Toxic. I don't know. Maybe Citrus Berry Belly Drum would be better, but I think Liquidation is just going to hit his team really hard. I didn't want another choice attacker because we already got a Specs user and a Scarf user. So, you know, I could run a Band on this for sure, right? But I think against his team, he's got a lot of good pivots that no, you know what? We're going to live edit this. So we'll run Band with Liquidation, Knockoff, Play Rough, and Aqua Jet. Just because we need to be able to deal with the Lycanroc at some point anyways. Knockoff is good just for any neutral switch in, something like an Alomomola switching in on this, which I would imagine it would. Then we can get rid of its Rocky Helmet pretty quickly. Play Rough, same sort of idea, is that it's there to hit the Salamence and the Primeape, I guess. Pretty much just the Salamence though. Liquidation runs through the rest of his team. That's about it, actually. Knockoff's also there for the Amoonguss if that's the switch in. Amoonguss deals with the Azumarill fairly well. I don't know if you'd want to run physical while Amoonguss, but there you go. So yeah, live editing at its best. We're running 1 point in speed to outrun Mega Aggron running no speed, so that we're consistently being able to outrun Mega Aggron, and Liquidation it twice potentially might kill it. Probably not because of Filter, but Azumarill's huge power makes it an absolute monster. Max attack Adamant with max HP, and then yeah, just pop the last point into Spadaf in case, you know, we have to take a Sludge Bomb from Amoonguss or something. Maybe we can actually take it. I'm not entirely sure. That's the team, and we take on Austin or Monster and his Atlanta Staraptors, and I will catch you guys for the match.